In a lively compound in the heart of Enugu, Mama Ada and Mama Chigazi lived as neighbors. Their homes were side by side, and their bond was as strong as family. Despite their differences in parenting style, they were inseparable friends. Mama Ada, strict and disciplined, believed in firm rules and order. On the other hand, Mama Chigazi was gentle and easygoing, rarely raising her voice. Both women were hardworking traders, often spending their days at the market. This left little time for their children, Adaora and Obinna, who had grown up together like siblings. At 12 years old, the two were inseparable, sharing secrets, doing homework, and playing games around the compound. Their laughter echoed through the dusty yard, a constant reminder of their youthful joy. One evening during dinner, Obinna told his mother, "Mama, I need a phone. All my classmates have one. I feel left out." Mama Chigazi paused, her spoon halfway to her mouth. "A phone? Obinna, don't you think you're too young for that?" "But Mama, it's not just for games. I can use it to study too," Obinna argued, his big, hopeful eyes looking up at her. Mama Chigazi sighed, unsure if her son was ready for such responsibility. She decided to set a condition. "If you can come first in your class this term, I'll buy you a phone. But only if you prove you deserve it." Obinna's eyes lit up with determination. From that day forward, he studied harder than ever, pouring all his energy into his books. Even Adaora noticed the change. "You're really serious about this phone, aren't you?" she teased him one evening as they worked on their math homework. "I'll show Mama I can do it," Obinna replied confidently. When the term ended, Obinna came home clutching his report card, beaming with pride. "Mama, look! First position!" Mama Chigazi couldn't hide her joy. She hugged him tightly and promised to keep her word. True to her promise, she bought Obinna a sleek new phone. It was more advanced than Obinna had ever imagined, and he was overjoyed. From that day on, the phone became Obinna's favorite possession. He used it to play games, watch cartoons, and explore the internet. Adaora often joined him, and the two spent hours laughing at funny videos and sharing silly games. One sunny afternoon, Obinna and Adaora sat in his room, glued to the phone. "Let's see what else we can find," Obinna said, scrolling through apps. Adaora nodded, her eyes wide with curiosity. "This phone has so much." Their innocent exploration marked the beginning of something neither of them could have predicted, a journey that would test their friendship and innocence. One quiet afternoon, while Mama Ada and Mama Chigazi were away at the market, Obinna and Adaora sat in Obinna's room as they often did. Obinna was busy scrolling through his phone, navigating various apps and videos, while Adaora watched over his shoulder. Suddenly, Obinna paused. "What's this?" he asked, clicking on an unfamiliar icon. The screen lit up with a collection of videos. The thumbnails were unusual, unlike the cartoons and games they usually enjoyed. Obinna tapped on one out of curiosity, and the video began to play. It showed something strange, adults behaving in ways the children didn't understand. Obinna and Adaora stared at the screen, their faces a mix of confusion and curiosity. "What are they doing?" Adaora whispered, her voice barely audible. Obinna hesitated, his brows furrowed. "I think it's something adults do. I've heard older boys at school talk about things like this." Adaora's face flushed. "Should we be watching this? It feels wrong." Obinna shrugged, unable to tear his eyes away. "It's just a video. It's not like we're doing anything bad." But deep down, both children felt uneasy. The video ended, but instead of closing the app, Obinna clicked on another one. As the minutes passed, their uneasiness turned into fascination. They didn't fully understand what they were watching, but the mystery of it drew them in. "Let's not tell anyone about this," Obinna said firmly. "It's our secret." Adaora nodded, though a part of her wanted to tell her mother. She knew, however, that Mama Ada wouldn't take it lightly. Her strict mother was quick to punish, and Adora couldn't imagine the consequences if she found out. From that day on, Obina and Adora's afternoons changed. Whenever their mothers were away, they would lock themselves in Obina's room to watch more of the forbidden videos. The once innocent laughter that used to echo through the compound was replaced by whispered conversations and stolen glances. Days turned into weeks, and the secret began to affect their friendship. They no longer played outside or did their homework together like they used to. Instead, their bond revolved around the hidden world they had discovered. One day, Adora turned to Obina as they sat in his room. "Do you think it's bad that we're watching these videos?" she asked, her voice trembling. Obina looked uncomfortable. "It's just videos, Adora. It's not like we're doing anything wrong." "But what if Mama finds out?" Obina's expression hardened. "She won't. We just have to keep it a secret." Adora nodded, but her unease grew with each passing day. Then, one fateful afternoon, Adora said something that shocked Obina. "What if we tried doing what they're doing in the videos?" Obina froze. "What? No! That's not a good idea, Adora." "But why not?" Adora insisted. "If it's something adults do, maybe we can understand it better." Obina shook his head, his heart pounding. "I don't think it's right." "What if we get caught?" But Adora wouldn't let the idea go. Her curiosity was stronger than her fear, and she kept bringing it up until Obina reluctantly agreed. The first time they tried, it didn't go as planned. Adora felt a sharp pain and quickly told Obina to stop. She ran out of the room, tears streaming down her face. For days, she avoided Obina, refusing to talk to him or even look his way. Obina felt terrible. He wanted to apologize, but didn't know how. Finally, after several days, he approached Adora at school. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "I shouldn't have agreed." Adora hesitated before nodding. "It's okay. Let's just forget about it." Their friendship slowly returned to normal, but things were never quite the same. Then, one random day, Adora surprised Obina again. "I think we should try it again," she said bluntly. Obina stared at her in disbelief. "What?" "Adora, no. The last time." "I want to," Adora interrupted. "This time will be different. Please, Obina. Don't disappoint me." Obina's heart sank. He didn't want to say yes, but he couldn't bear the thought of upsetting Adora. Reluctantly, he agreed. One day after school, they decided to stay behind in an empty classroom. The school was quiet, and most of the students and teachers had gone home. Adora looked at Obina with determination in her eyes. "Are you sure about this?" Obina whispered nervously, glancing around. Adora nodded. "We'll be quick. No one will know." They slipped into the school toilet, hearts pounding with both fear and anticipation. Just as they were about to try what they had seen in the videos, the sound of footsteps echoed down the corridor. "Someone's coming," Obina hissed, grabbing Adora's arm. Panic set in as the footsteps grew louder. The children bolted out of the toilet, running in different directions. It was the school security guard making his routine rounds. Fortunately, he didn't see them, but the close call left them shaking. When they got home that evening, both Mama Ada and Mama Chigazi were still at work. Alone in the compound, Adora turned to Obina and said, "We have to try again, this time at home." Obina hesitated, his fear evident. "I don't know, Adora. What if someone catches us?" "No one's here," Adora insisted. "Our mothers won't be back for hours." Reluctantly, Obina agreed. They went into Obina's room and locked the door. Just as they were about to start, the sound of the front door opening startled them. "Obina, are you home?" Mama Chigazi's voice rang out. Obina and Adora froze, their faces pale with fear. Mama Chigazi's footsteps approached the room, and she knocked on the door. Obina, why is this door locked? Scrambling to cover up their actions, they opened the door. Mama Chigazi's sharp eyes darted between Obina and Adora. Something about their behavior seemed off. What's going on here? She asked, her voice firm. Adora looked down at the floor, unable to meet her gaze. Obina stammered, trying to come up with an excuse, but his mother wasn't convinced. Both of you, sit down, Mama Chigazi commanded. Now, tell me the truth. What have you been doing? The children exchanged nervous glances. They knew they couldn't hide the truth any longer. With trembling voices, they confessed everything, the videos, their curiosity, and their attempts to mimic what they had seen. Mama Chigazi listened in stunned silence, her heart sinking with every word. She felt a wave of guilt wash over her. How had she missed this? Had her focus on her business blinded her to her son's needs? Taking a deep breath, she said, "Stay here. I need to talk to Mama Ada." Mama Chigazi walked across the compound to Adora's house and told her everything. Mama Ada's face turned pale with shock. She stood up abruptly, pacing the room. "This is all Adora's fault," she snapped. "She's the one leading Obina astray." Mama Chigazi shook her head firmly. "No. It's not just Adora. Both of them are involved, and we need to handle this together as mothers." For the first time, Mama Ada sat down, her usual strict demeanor replaced by worry. "What do we do?" she asked quietly. "We need to talk to them, and more importantly, we need to get them help," Mama Chigazi replied. "Therapy, counseling, whatever it takes to guide them back to the right path." The two mothers returned to Obina's house and had a long talk with the children. They explained the dangers of the content they had been watching and why their actions were harmful. Though their words were gentle, the children could feel the weight of their disappointment. After that day, things changed in the compound. Mama Ada became more attentive to Adora, softening her strict ways to create a more open and trusting relationship. Mama Chigazi, on the other hand, made an effort to spend more time with Obina, realizing that her leniency had left him without proper guidance. Eventually, both families agreed to seek professional help for the children. Therapy sessions helped Obina and Adora understand the consequences of their actions and the importance of making better choices. Despite their efforts to mend the situation, the bond between the two families was never the same. Mama Ada decided to relocate to another state, hoping to give Adora a fresh start away from the memories of what had happened. As the moving truck pulled away, Obina watched from the compound, feeling a mix of sadness and relief. He had learned a hard lesson, one that would stay with him for the rest of his life.